Yo, what up? It's me, Boneless Shelter. Welcome back to a new episode. So today, it's probably going to be quite simple. By the way, why do I always do like two intros? Like, I spend like the first few seconds saying what I'm going to do this episode, and then I cut to the footage and I say the exact same thing. Like, what the... Why? Yo, what up? It's a new episode of Programming My Game. So in this episode, we are actually going to tone the programming down a little bit, because today we're going to do the menus. Well, not programming the menus, but making them, because this is okay, but if I click inventory, there's absolutely nothing. So let's make sure that it actually gives something. Of course, this is going to be useful because when I make items, like if we go over there, this thing, which is supposed to give me an item, and later NPCs that give you cards, it'd be nice to actually have an inventory to see. Why is it so dark? To see what you got, use them, and such. Also do the party menu and the item menu here, because we already have to fight, and these two are part of the inventory, kind of like what we already have for the fight menu. So I feel like this episode might not have a lot of content, but let's hope that it's more than 5 minutes long. So without further ado, let me start. Okay, so I did one screen, and it's the data screen to save and load your progress. So there's a big message saying saving is disabled, because in most builds you can't really save unless it's like an actual game build. Plus, I didn't implement saving yet, and I'm not going to implement it for a while. But also because in the dungeons you cannot save. There is a way to save your progress in safe zones, but then again, it's not actual saving, it's just the game keeping in mind that you reached that room. It is saving, but it's not actually saving on your save file, and it only works once, and you cannot really do much with it. It allows you to just like stop playing for the day and not lose your progress without actually saving. But if we ignore the big red text, you can see the save menu got the option to save and load, and then there are several save slots with even more if you go down. I'm really trying to make fucking menus seem interesting. Both option screens done. Man, this episode will be so boring. Like, imagine, well, you probably won't have to imagine it, but you waited an entire week for the new Dr. David Devlog, only for it to be a 5-minute long video about making fucking menus. Well, showing you that I made some menus. This might be the worst episode yet. When I'll do a tier list, if I do a tier list at the end, this episode will be bottom. Oh, actually, it could be S tier, because I'm not going to be raging. Man. And it's like, there's nothing interesting to show. I'm just making menus. Like, add a text, place it, and write, and do a bunch of things. There's no code, just like stuff. Editor, put a bunch of memes in. All of this is just because I didn't have a lot of time. But even if I had more time today, I still wanted to do the menus because, well, it's something important that needs to be done sooner or later. And if it takes me like 2 hours to do one menu, it's better to do it now than in the middle of something. Like, now I'm making the inventory menu. If I don't, when I'll create items, an inventory system, I'll have to create the entire menu in the middle of it. But now it will be simpler. I'll just be clicking. Yeah, right now it kind of looks like I'm just putting a bunch of shit, but you'll see the vision at the end. Yes, so as I was saying, it did take me like 16 minutes to do this simple inventory screen, even if for you it was way shorter because I cut some parts and sped it up. But yeah, that's why I want to do the menus before I actually need them. Of course, I'll still have to add functionalities like clicking nevermind to close that window, use to use the item, make sure that the actual item's name and descriptions appear here and here. That's actual coding, so it will be done when I actually get around to doing them. Okay, so at first I also wanted to add a menu for entries. Like, there's this, you click, and then it brings you to another menu that allows you to select what you want, but I kind of like don't want to do it right now. Also because I'm not even sure how the entry menu should work. So I will add something another screen, and then I'm going to plug it up. And then I'm going to just add a big button. Okay, so I finished. Let's see. The entries menu is still a bit weird, but I put on enough that can appear or disappear depending on whether or not you have an entry on. So we can still test out if the entries work without needing more. So this is the correct title screen. If I click on option, I can change the resolution of the game. Of course it doesn't do anything yet, but there's the options. There's also a slider for the music and the sounds. Then when I start the game, I can open up. There's of course party, of course cards. But now options, which is the same as on the title screen. I have what I just showed you. Yeah, I didn't link it to the other screen, but no one cares. Data, which I already showed. And then if you click on inventory, you have, well, the inventory. There's a division between the stuff and the key items. Stuff is basically like healing items, well, anything that you can use. Well, key items key items, you know what they are. These buttons that I should maybe switch around allows you to like go down and up through the list, which is going to be an I think it's an array. Well, I don't remember which one, but I am going to create a list, the same type of list as for the characters party. And of course, depending on what item you have on that list is going to show up here. The same thing with key items, which is a different list. And when you are in a dungeon, there will be a third option, which is the dungeon items, since some items can only be used in a dungeon. And of course, you already saw it, but when you select an item, there's another screen that asks you, do you want to use it or not, which also tells you the effect. And if you're on a key item screen, there's a little box that tells you like what the item is and why do you have it, or whatever I write. But that's not all, because if I go in battle, you will see that clicking on items brings you the item screen, which works pretty much the same way. These are all of your items. You can go down and up, although there's actually a slider this time. And you can't see it right now, but there's also a regular and dungeon option. Like I said, in dungeons you can have like items that can only be used in that dungeon, so that button appears. Normally they're not there because you only have access to your regular items, but in dungeons they appear, and it's again two different lists. And if we go into the party, bear with me, it's a bit of a mess, but basically it shows like all the characters, their HP, their XP. When you click on this, it's supposed to tell you more, like their stat, if they're affected by a status condition, how many cards are remaining in their deck, and everything. The return button doesn't work. Why? Let's just there. And basically, like that, you can pick who appear. It's a character switching. It's a party. Why didn't that button work? I don't know, but it doesn't really matter. So, yeah, cool. I guess that's the end of today's episode.